Okay, so the various strata of the government. So if we go to this lesson, Putala, so we can find various kinds of systems prevailed in our country within Sri Lanka. Okay, let's go to the lesson. The prime responsibility of a democratic government is to fulfill the needs of citizens to the maximum level. No? So it is important to study the various strata of the government and the functions. Functions means the duty. Then how we can get an understand about how the government fulfills the responsibilities towards the citizens. Okay, so our human needs are really complex in the modern society, so government has to become very complex of giving, like supplying these needs to people. Okay, so here now from this lesson we are going to discuss the comparison about the past and present structure of these bodies and the functions of these bodies at each level, like the effectiveness of the activities, the problems faced by them in the practice. There are various kind of problems facing, undergoing while we are practicing them. And when we are exercising the functions of those different bodies at each level, there are benefits, accountability and responsibility of respective bodies, as well as the duties and responsibilities of the citizens who are benefited to have also been emphasized. Okay, let's go to the lesson. There are, so here now the system of the government within our country, like Sri Lanka, it's a liberal, democratic and the unitary system. It is our government. We are we have the we have like the main responsibility is depend on us. So we are the part of this government. Okay, so here this is the democratic republican society. So the unitary system of the government means a system in which powers are centered around the central authority. So it is also defined as a government in which all executive, legislative, judicial powers are exercised by a single central government. Okay, there are various kind of definitions are given here. The fundamental feature of a unitary government is that one central authority possesses the supreme power of enacting law. So, and the unitary government has two fundamental features: the supremacy of the central government and the absence of the subsidiary sovereign bodies. CN is strong. So, okay. Now, there our country is a developing country. No, since in my childhood it's a developing country. Still, it's a developing country. Okay, we have to develop it. Now here, developed countries such as Great Britain, Japan, France, as well as developing countries such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal are examples for the unitary states. So Sri Lanka also has a unitary system of the government like our country. So here it has a long history of the central and the local government system. Now, even in the past, there had been regional administrative. Regional means Putala Pradeshiya, like Paripalana Sevya, regional administrative units. In addition to the central government, okay. So, those units were like Uttara Passa, Prachina Passa, Dakkina Passa, Paschima Passa. Okay, so I think you are familiar with these kind of words because you all are doing history, no? So here, by the end of the Anuradhapura era, so there were several administrative units, namely Rajarata, Dakkina Desha, Dolos Dahasrata, Ata Dahasrata. So during the British colonial period, there were administrative units known as Disava Korala Pattu. Okay, so now we know our country, we were a colony of the Great Britain, so there were kind of constitutional reforms could be seen in our country. So there are, we'll go each and everything now. So here important changes introduced by the British colonial rulers in Sri Lanka. Colebrook reforms 1833. This is the first one. So here the Legislative Council, official 9, unofficial 6. Look at this, official means they are representing their state, like United States, like Britain. Okay. Unofficial 6, European 3, Sinhala 1, Tamil Burger. Okay. But main power vested only the official and the unofficial European 3. These our people are for they appointed just for name. Okay. So here there's no power. visited to our people, Sri Lankan people. So here, Crewe-McCallum reforms 1910, the Legislative Council, official 11, unofficial 10. So here now you can see there's an increase, increment can be seen the official and the unofficial by the time. That one also official level belong to their country, their nation, and the unofficial 10 elected 4 and nominated 6. Okay, elected 4, educated Ceylonese 1, educated, European 2, Burger 1. Okay, nominated 6, Low Country Sinhala 2, Up Country Sinhala 1, Tamil 2, Muslim 1. Okay, okay, the third one, Manning Reforms 1921. The Legislative Council 37. It consisted, how many people are there? Members 37. So here now we can see comparatively the members are like increasing. Okay, so official 14 and unofficial 23. Now you can see as officers 5. Okay, nominated by the governor 9. Governor is normally it's biased to Britain. Okay, not from our country. So here unofficial 23, elected 16 and the nominated 7. Elected 16 on the basics of the ethnicity and the professions 5. Okay, basics on the ethnicity and the profession. European 2, that one also ethnicity, you look at this Berg. Chamber of Commerce 1, Low Country Producers Association 1. Now you can see here European and the burger. So actually these two Europeans also, they have more power than these people, our people. So from the territorial representation, there's 11 you can see here. Colombo 1, Western Province 2, all other provinces, for each province 8 members. Okay, Upcountry Sinhala 2, the nominated 7. The nominated 7 actually they have given the priority for the governor. Those who are biased to the governor were nominated. Muslim, Indian, Tamil, special 3. Okay, so the Donamo, it is 1931. Okay, that's a state council. This is, you can see, manual reforms, you can see the Legislative Council, and but here in 1931, Donamo reforms, you can see the State Council. Name has changed, no? And there are some differences also. On the territorial representation, 50 members are there, officials of the state tree, Chief Secretary, Financial Secretary and the Legal Secretary. Nominated by the governor, that one also, as I said, you already nominated by the governor means the people who are biased to the governor. Okay, so you can see the members of each and every reforms have increased by the time, because as we were a colony of the Great Britain, so anyway the main power vested only the governor and the Europeans. Okay, so our people were just for the name were there. Constitutional reforms introduced by the British in 1833, 1910, 1921, 1924 did not include a right of the internal self-determination. However, Donamo reforms provided a relatively better opportunity for Sri Lanka. Donamo is a kind of a good one. Okay, they gave better opportunity for Sri Lankans to participate in politics. So, universal franchise. Okay, universal franchise, executive committee, system, national state council were some of the democratic proposal. Nowadays also we are giving our universal franchise, we are representing, no, as Sri Lankans. So these are the some of proposals that mark turning point in the political history of Sri Lanka. Okay, Putala. Now the next one, Salisbury Constitution reforms in 1947. It's a bicameral legislature. Keep these names in your mind, and the members also very important. House of Representatives. I have noted description as in the past paper also about the representatives and the bicameral legislature. So here the Senate, you can see there are 30 members for a Senate. Now if we go to the House of Representatives, 101, elected through universal franchise 95 from the people's vote. Nominated by the Governor General, that one also 6. But The elected by the votes of the House of the Representatives 15 nominated by the Governor General on the advice of the Prime Minister 15 members. Now you can see here Putala, some of the merits of this constitution are as follows. Like independence was obtained from the British Empire on the 4th February 1948. We know about this. Okay, so here Salisbury Constitution reforms in 1947. The next year 1948 we obtained the independence and we introduced a cabinet, introduced in two-house parliament, introduced the post of Governor General representing the Queen, but we did not totally obtain the independence because you can see the post of the Governor General represented the Queen, accepting the British Prime Council as the Supreme Court of Appeals. So how can we say that we obtain total independence, because still our decisions are getting from the Supreme Court of the British. Okay, so establishment of the Public Service and the Judicial Service Commission, paying special attention to minority rights. Now here, drafting the first Republican Constitution. This is our first Republican Constitution of Sri Lanka 1972. This is very important, but there were some mistakes could be seen because as it was the first constitution of our country for the first time, Putala. Like if I get some example, they mentioned about the human rights, but they did not mention the steps. If the human rights are violated, what should we do? There are some steps they have to mention. Okay, so they did not mention in the 1972 constitution. There were some mistakes could be seen. In that case, later on we went for another constitution. Nowadays we are using that. It is 1978 constitution. It's a more reliable than we are using that constitution. Abolishing the dominion status of the formation of independent republic. Yeah, this is very important. Naming the unicameral legislature as the National State Assembly. Abolishing the post of governor. No, on that constitution, no governor general, and they introduced the post of president. Nowadays we have accepting Supreme Court as the final and the apex court of Sri Lanka. Establishment of the Constitutional Court, establishment of the Public Service Advisory Board, Public Service Disciplinary Board, Judicial Service Advisory Board and Judicial Service Disciplinary Board. Very important constitution. Including a chapter for fundamental rights for the first time, as I said you already, but they did not mention if fundamental rights are violated, what are the steps have to take. They did not mention. So, little problems could be seen. So, the second Republican, now we are using this one, 1978, they introduce a post of presidency with executive powers. Now, our president has lot of powers now. Introducing a board of ministers and prime minister headed by an executive president. And also introducing the proportional representation system by abolishing simple majority system. Abolished the simple majority system and they went for a proportional representation. Sorry. Introducing a parliament comprised of 225 members, we are calling Desi Visipa, of which 996 members are elected from universal suffrage and 29 members are elected from the national list. So here from our vote 96 members are elected and also 29 members are coming from national list. Okay, and reintroducing Public Service Commission and the Judicial Service Commission, introducing the Fundamental Rights chapter with provision to safeguard before the previous one, as I said already, mistakes could be seen, especially from the fundamental rights, but here they mention provisions to safeguard them. Okay, they mention introducing the post of commissioner on the parliament, ombudsman. We are calling Dugganna Rala in Sinhala, ombudsman. Okay, at present Sri Lanka has been divided into 9 provincials and 25 administrative districts are there. Western province, it consisted Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara. Central province, 3 districts you can see, Kandy, Matale, Nuwara. Southern province, Gol, Matara, Hambantota. Northern province, Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mana, Vaunia, Mullaitivu, because as it's a large place. Okay. Eastern province, Batticaloa, Ampara, Trincomalee, North-Western Kurunegala Puttala, North Central Anuradhapura Polonnaruwa, Uva, Badula Monragala Sabaragamu, Ratnapura and Kegol. It's depend according to the location of the area, like the province. Okay, so here now you can see from these kind of maps. So also provincial council system of Sri Lanka, there are several attempts have made to decentralize administrative powers of Sri Lanka as follows. Now here put there specially provincial councils established to decentralize powers of Sri Lanka. If we take the report of Donamo Constitution 1928, report of Solbury 1945, Ratasabha Bandaranayaka Selvanayagam Pact 1957, District Councils Dadisenanayaka Selvanayagam Pact 1965, Districts Development Councils 1980. So the 13th Amendment and the Provincial Council, this is very important, keep it in your mind, highlight to when you are making a short note, you have to add these points because they are surely normally they are asking for the MCQ. Okay, 13th Amendment and the Provincial Council Act number 42 of 1987. 1987 after the second Republican Constitution, okay, provided constitution the legal provisions for the formation of the provincial councils. According to the Constitution of 1978, the provisions were introduced to set up a provincial councils to each province. So in your area also you belong to some center, some kind of provincial council, no? Likewise, according to the 8th schedule of the Constitution of 1978, the country has been divided into 9 provinces. We are calling Palatnavaya. So here, now the Putala, the provincial councils are formed in order to decentralize executive, legislature and the judicial powers concentrated in the central government. No? So, the provincial councils are comprised of representatives. Normally, there's election is coming every, like normally you are meeting of those kind of elections, no? So, here from that we are electing representatives from district votes of the direct votes of the people. From our direct votes, we are electing members to the provincial councils. Local government system of Sri Lanka, historical facts prove that local authorities in Sri Lanka has long history. No? There are some examples. Those who held some responsibilities were called by titles such as Gamika, Parumaka, Gama Bojika, Mayors, Nagaragutika. You are familiar with these kind of words because you all are doing history. I am not going to explain moreover. So, according to the Vevalketi inscription, there are evidences we can get. There has been a ruling system called Dasa Gam Palanaya. Dasa means 10, no? Gam means villages, no? Palana means controlling the ruling system, no? There's a ruling system by taking 10 villages as a single administrative unit, okay? So, even in the Kandyan Kingdom, the same type of administrative system prevailed. It has been reported that the Kandyan Kingdom had been divided into 4 Mahadasa, Atadisa and Navarata. This is very, very important, reports of the Robert Knox 1681 prove that the village had been ruled by a village council Logam Sabha, obtaining the people's participation in administrative affairs and preparing central government policies of the basics of the views of the people in the localities are the functions expected from the local government bodies. So here local government bodies that it's like weaving public opinions. Okay, so these local government bodies are classified as regional and urban and they are comprised in representatives elected by people. Do you know some areas of our country there are a lot of like singular people coming, Muslim peoples they are selected, Tamil peoples are selected. Then you can get an idea about the area who are like the majority of the ethnic groups what are the majority of the ethnic groups living in that area. So here because it's representing people's will, okay, different types of local government bodies has been formed in Sri Lanka in order to achieve formal community development in order to ensure more efficient community service. Okay, Putala, establishing municipal councils under Municipal Council Act in 1865. Colombo Candy Gold. Municipal Council 1865. Okay, look at this. Colombo Candy Gold. Okay. Then establishing Gam Sabha under the Ordinance of 1934. Okay. Establishing Urban Councils Ordinance 1939. Town Council Ordinance 1956. District Development Councils and councils by abolishing town councils. Abolished town councils and Gam Sabha 1980. Establishing Pradeshya Sabha 1987. Okay. Local government system is practiced in Sri Lanka in order to delegate administrative affairs of the central government so as to fulfill the public needs and requirements more efficiently. The thing is, Putala, each and every area, especially if we take the western province, Colombo, like Gampaha, there's high urbanized areas, no? Then people, relatively people are doing commercial activities, education level is high, so likewise. So in that case, the people, the representatives who elected to this area as the provincial councils, they know the needs and want of the people in that area. If we take the dry zone of our country like Anuradhapura, Polonnaru, those areas as the example I said, so majority of the people are farmers and the people, the representatives, though they know their needs and desires, the people who are living in that area, then they can cater their needs and they can fulfill their needs. Okay. So here Putala, now reasons for decentralizing powers of the government to regional units. Why? Provincial council system and the local authorities in Sri Lanka have been established for decentralizing powers of central government. No? The objective of devolving power on regional level administrative units are conferring powers to people provincial level within a unitary structure. There should be a structure. Ensuring cultural and language identities of people in the provincial, as I said you already, some areas of our country we can see majority Tamils, majority Sinhala, likewise. Accelerating development and administrative activities in each province and making day-to-day affairs of the people easy. Some people are doing in like the Anuradhapura Polonnaru, most of the people are doing agricultural activities while the Colombo people are doing commercial activities. How to identify their needs? Regional development, identifying the regional resources and use them efficiently, expanding participation of the people in administrative affairs, like the fulfillment of basic needs of the people, establishment of administrative units closer to the people, uplifting the status of the regional leadership and the providing opportunities for national and young leadership. Yeah, there are a lot of young leaders are coming with this, giving opportunity. No? So minimizing workload of the central government. Central government had lot of responsibilities. So while they are devolving power with these kind of bodies, minimizing the workload of the central government. But there are some problems in decentralizing powers. Advantages but disadvantages too. Not disadvantages, actually problems are there. Some regional units are benefited while some other units are not. Due to the disparity of distribution, yeah, this is happening. Okay, while the very rural areas, like when they are like distributing the resources, we can see that kind of problems. Lack of knowledge of the people about the ways of getting their needs fulfilled. Some people, it's depend on the educational level of the people. While the urban people are very really educated, the rural areas we can see some like kind of comparatively education level is low among the rural people, inadequate power to devolve the provincial council and local authorities for the implementation of development programs, difficulty in allocation of funds for implementing development plans, issues regarding transparency and accountability emerge when a number of bodies are engaged in the same task. Yeah, there are problems problems are emerging because transparency and accountability emerge when a number of bodies are engaged. Many people are engaged in the same task. There are problems are coming out because with the transparency. Now there are some this is a big lesson, so we'll try to do to the maximum level today. Powers and functions of the central government, provincial councils and the local authorities in Sri Lanka. Powers and functions of the central government of Sri Lanka, central government, board of cabinet headed by the executive president, legislature, parliament, the judicial system headed by the Supreme Court. If we take the board of cabinet, now we know the head is the president. controlling public services, defense services, yes, controlling state finance, foreign affairs, legislative affairs, judicial functions, issuing orders and regulation. These are the duties of the Board of Cabinet and the President. And the legislature, the parliament, making laws, yes, providing majority required by the executive, administrating of the executive, controlling budget, submitting remedies like we are calling podu samawa, like questioning, making fair criticisms of the government activities. Yeah, especially fair criticisms. There should be opposite party of the government. We are calling vipakshaya. You can see they are writing, discussing, arguing those kind of things. Yeah, there should be. Because government then they can identify their faults, mistakes, those kind of things. Such things they can get a clear understanding what they do. Okay, it is very important part. Judicial system headed by the Supreme Court, interpreting laws, dispensing justice, advisory tasks, safeguarding constitution. This is very important. Functioning as a guardian of the right of citizens, exercising special tasks vested in Supreme Court. Now, the executive, according to the Second Republican Constitution of 1978, the President is the head of the state government executive as well as the Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces. He is the head. He is like we are calling Senadinayakkara in sequel. That much power vested to the President according to under 1978 Constitution. There's article number 30, the first one of the Constitution describe the post of presidency as follows. Surely they will last, Putala. So you have to keep this in your mind. So Republic of Sri Lanka has a president. Yes. He is the head of the state. Yes. Head of the executive. Yes. And head of the government. Yeah. As well as the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. Now you can figure out the power vested to our president. See, lot of powers. So the legislative powers of the president under 1978 Constitution, to summon the prorogue and the dissolve parliament, yeah, to make the statement of the government policy at the inaugural session of the parliament. Yes, president. President, can you remember giving the statement of the government policy in the inaugural session at the very first session of the parliament, and to direct the special bills for referendums? What is the referendums? We are calling Janamata Vicharana. And like amending articles 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 30th second, 62 second. So, and the other one is bills that the cabinet approves to be passed through a referendum. This is very important. After the referendum, there are bills that cabinet approves to be passed. So that so bills that the Supreme Court means the final decisions are given from the Supreme Court, determines to be passed through referendum. And the sanctions bills passed through referendum, addressing the parliament and sending messages to it. These are the responsibilities under the President of 1978 Constitution. And we are calling legislator 1978, we are calling parliament. There are 225 members now. We know about them now. So here, according to the constitution, the legislature is comprised of 196 members, and we know that those are coming from our votes like universal franchise and from the 22 electoral districts, and other 29 we discussed earlier also. 29 members elected from the national list. So, number of members elected by the universal franchise, and they have given the total count and all. So, powers and functions of the legislator, like parliament, there are powers and duty. The first task of the meeting of parliament is to elect a speaker. Speaker means we are calling Kathanayaka, deputy speaker, chairman of the committees and deputy chairman of committees. So, these are the main responsibilities at the first task. Chairman committees from the votes of members. The functions are as follows: making laws, so enacting laws, controlling executive, controlling finance, questioning, very important, providing majority required by the executive, submitting public grievances, criticizing the actions of the government reasonably. Okay, there should be a reason. Contributing for the amendments of the constitution, bring in management's motions, bring in motions of no confidence. Very important. Training future leaders. There are a lot of future leaders are adding to the parliament. You can see new faces, new qualifications by the time, sanctions bills. So these are the powers vested to parliament, and the powers and functions of the judiciary. There are many judicial institutions in Sri Lanka. Now here you can describe, we can describe in the unit of law and justice. There are functions of different judicial institutions. They are doing interpreting law, trial, dispensing justice, safeguarding, very important part, rights of citizens, safeguarding the constitution, resolving legal issues among the provincial council, local authorities, central government, consultative task on legislation. Now they are there to protect from the legal side. Okay. Study powers and functions of provincial council in the lesson. Decentralization and devolution of power. They have mentioned the page numbers 45 to 47 in citizenship education book in grade 10 because for the O levels 10 and from grade 10 and 11 book there are some questions you will meet up from 10 and 11. Structure, powers and functions of the local authorities. There are three types of local government bodies are in operation at present. Municipal council in your area, urban councils, Pradesh is about divisional council. So local government bodies have been set up for making development and the welfare activities. Yeah, they are given for development and the welfare activities, convenient and efficient in order to provide an efficient service. They know the desires of people, the needs, they are given a better service. And also requirements of regional level can be identified easily through these bodies and an efficient service can be provided to people. There you can see head of the municipal council, mayor, urban council chairman, Pradesh Sabha chairman. So there are members of the bodies are elected by an election. So in 4 years, local government elections contribute to the emergence of the political leaders. Those also coming from the area. New young leaders, they are given opportunity. Municipal council also the same, Putala. It is set up under Municipal Council Ordinance number 16 of 1907. Delimation and the nomination of the council done by the respective minister in charge of the subject. Municipal council is set up for an area with high level of urban characteristics. High level of urban characteristics. Okay. When they are a high level of urban characteristics, there's municipal council. So here there are 23 municipal council in Sri Lanka. It consists of a mayor, deputy mayor and the members. Powers. Providing water for the respective urban area, very important. Providing electricity, landscaping, garbage disposal. Every for a year, like they are collecting garbages from each and every area. No? So here constructing new roads, preparing housing schemes, providing library facilities, building community centers, maintaining sports grounds and gymnasiums, maintaining public lavatory units, maintaining places of entertainment, controlling affairs of scaling and measurements. Yeah. Have you noted they are like scaling and measurements? They are businessmen also. They are checking their measurements. How they are checking? Are they doing cheap things and all? They are checking those things also. Maintaining minor roads, public wells and bathing places. So next day I hope to start from the urban councils. Okay, see you soon.